Hey, what is up everybody, Bladecifer here, and today I bring you guys another video of Black Clover Mobile. Inside today's video, guys, we're actually doing something that you guys ended up requesting, and which is a account review. Now this is going to be the first of many here, in which I actually got one of my friends named Chronos here, or Dan. You guys might see me talk to him quite a lot, or either mention him on different little live streams and things like that. I got his account here with some screenshots, and we're going to be going over this man's account. Now, for these account reviews for you guys here, pretty much how I'm going to be doing these guys, either you let me log on your account, or either we can go ahead and do this with screenshot actually submissions here, in which I'm getting the Discord server kind of set up, so you guys will be able to do that very soon here. And pretty much what you want to do, send me a bunch of screenshots on different things that you feel like you want to be shown here in the video, whether that is gear, teams, boxes in general, what you've completed. And then of course, tell me different things that you really want me to kind of elaborate on, or at least try to see if I can make your team better. So we're going to be going over at least, I want to say, 5 different things that Dan himself here has decided to ask, like what should he do with his account, as well as different screenshots here that he does have ready to actually show off his account a little bit. So if you guys are interested in stuff like this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. We are on the road to 1.7K. I did not think we'd see it, especially since, like, I want to say a month ago we were at like 1.2, which is kind of crazy. You guys absolutely have been going insane with this, and I can't wait to start giving back to you guys. But all right, taking a look at Dan's account here, if we go ahead and swap from my just camera and go to our YouTube here, we should be able to, of course, see the little YouTube page here. But one of the main things that we're going to be looking at is his account immediately. Now, Dan showed me a little bit about his box here, showing exactly what he has, in which we can see the man has some decent stuff, at least 2 rows of full LRs here, with some URs getting worked on. Voltos I'm seeing is slowly getting up, as well as some really good SSRs down there that are in the works. Now, we can see, of course, his regular blue team that's been adjusted here a little bit here, in which he was previously using Mars, Yami, we have Lotus, and regular SR Charmy. But as we can tell, he's slowly kind of incorporating the newer characters here, being at least the new Charmy S2, who is also duped out twice. I see that, which is really nicely done. And then of course we have Julius being as well awakened, or LR +2 as well. It's kind of nice to see that he's doing that type of things here, in which if he really wanted to go ahead and use, at least utilize a couple different teams here for blue dungeoning, especially when it does come down to this here, he could very well use like Julius here, or at least the red dungeon here, use Julius, Charmy, maybe the new S2 Charmy. He could very well still use Lotus, because that's very nice to get that incapacitation off here, and then utilize using Yami, of course, having those 2 DPSs just quickly blitz through the blue dungeon. If you did want to do the actual blue dungeon where you need a green team here, a green team that he could possibly end up using would end up being Raya, I can say Mimosa, Rades, and most likely Rill here. And the main reason I'm saying Rill is because he'll also give off that nice defense down, so that's always nice. And then of course, taking on the green dungeon, which you need a team of reds here, he can go ahead and build himself Noelle, Asta, having a red Yami down there, as well as having Charlotte. So that's always nice that he can end up getting up here, and which already looks pretty dang good. But now that we went over teams that he could possibly build for his mono teams here, let's go ahead and take a look at some of his gear. So if we take a look at some of his gear here, he went with the advocated pure defense pretty much set that I end up using for my Mars here. And for some of you guys who are wondering exactly why here that I say or suggest go for this for Mars, it's mainly because Mars is only seen as a defender. He's not seen to really do as much damage that you want him to deal. You really just want that brick wall being able to stop as many people as possible. So making him harder to kill is the better, in at least my opinion, in this way. And so he has the 2 enhanced gear set for defense here, and everything else is into defense here. Still looks like he needs to get these gears up to +12, which is perfectly fine. Once he does do so, it will look a lot better. I am seeing that the defense is around 23k, which isn't really bad here. If he has decent substats, which he did not end up showing us today, if he can get some decent substats for his at least defend gears here, that will obviously be absolutely amazing for his Mars. So really well built in that case. Going with his Asta here, which he actually has said is one of his better characters that he's built here. He has an attack, a regular defense set, and a speed set. Now, I do agree with the attack in the speed set here, but what he needs to try and work on here is either just a regular old enhanced defense just to have as a placeholder, or try to grind up a little bit of crit damage gear when possible. Seeing that we do know that Asta hits like an absolute truck when he crits here, it's better to give him that nice old crit damage when you possibly can. Of course, if you aren't able to do so, you can very well, like, of course, just wait on that and you can try and get something else later on. But I do suggest having that extra crit damage gear would make him way more viable in my opinion, and will be absolutely amazing. Now, you could go with crit rate. That definitely does work out too. Just make sure you have the right stats. Now, he's nearly sitting on 40k DC, or at least 40k attack here, in which, if you guys don't know exactly what's going on, that's because of the set effects he does have on, as well as some of the substats. If you can get his substats a little bit higher, I can definitely see his Asta easily peaking the 50k mark, of course. And then, of course, if he works a little bit on his accessories, which are able to be done by combining 10 SSR accessories, bottom at least amount, and he's able to actually get him some more CC is that way as well. So that's kind of nice to see. All right, so going ahead and looking at his Yami here, he does have some attack gears, looking pretty decent double attack here with some defense. Later on, he can start building attack and crit rates along with attack, crit rate, and crit damage. I think that's really going to be good for Yami, of course. But of course, if he does want a little bit of speed in that kit as well, it is very much so viable. It honestly just comes down to what he does look for. But I would say attack, crit rate, and crit damage would be nice. Now, he is going half and half, I'm seeing, because at least the attack is just as high as the magic attack, which is perfectly fine. Seeing Yami does utilize both, but seeing that his attack stat does have more at base, it is wise to try and work on more regular attack to get that more at least damage output. So let's go ahead and check out next character, being Lotus. Lotus needs some work here, but I think he's actually working on that a little bit here. I would advise him to do attack, speed, enhanced speed, and just defense. That's mainly because I like to have my debuffers a little bit more tanky here. Of course, if you are using him for PvP, you very well could use 4-piece speed as well. So don't let that go. This is overall pretty dang decent, being 40k. He does want to get up in CC wise. Of course, he's gonna have to up, of course, the rarity amount of these guys, and then of course get up those nice accessories when possible. Lastly, I think we do have, let's see, okay, we have a few more people actually. Oh my gosh, actually a lot more people. So we have Charmy over here, which is just his SR Charmy packed up to the punch with some magic attack here. He does want to have that attack set, which is why we have that on. Looking absolutely amazing, but overall still good. Now, Noelle over here being at least on the attack speed set for the most part with a basic attack on. This is looking pretty decent. In the future, I would suggest, though, try to run attack speed and crit damage. I feel like that will definitely play off a lot more, especially if her crit damage could be higher, and all you would need to do is get crit rate stats. Looking at Mimosa here, packed up with a lot of magic attack as well. Try to go for attack, defense, and HP, and I think this overall will go good for the most part. Now, I think we only have Julius to go over here, which, as usual, we all know this already. Attack percentage, or at least enhanced attack, is always going to be the best thing to run here. With crit rate and crit damage, that will definitely be the things that you guys want to try and focus on, especially if you're going to use Julius. Or you can go with attack, speed, and crit damage, which is currently what I'm using for Julius himself as well, if you want him to be a little bit faster to amplify a little bit more of that damage. All right, so now that we went over gears and things of that sort in that nature, of course, he does have his power rank team here. Now, this is just going to be his maximum team that he can pretty much get, and which if he really wanted to boost this, he could get up a couple defenders. So a defender like Rades here, just a little bit oomph that defense for at least his CC. Now, this isn't anything too crazy that you have to do this for. Like, CC is just, I'm being honest, just something that's like there. You don't really need to have a huge grip on CC, at least not just yet. But if he really wanted to go ahead and get up his CC, either use double defender, or he can continue using the team he has currently, but he has to really up his gear. So that's going to be a major thing, of course. Enhancers are going to be a major thing, of course, when it comes down to this, and accessories. So if you really wanted to get up your gear wise, that would be absolutely amazing, in which I do have some tips and tricks for doing that as well. All right, so we are looking at his Mage's path. He is on the last Mage's path here, so this is pretty darn good, seeing that he's collected this many characters and such like this. He will immediately get up his Julius to at least 4, at least in my opinion, in which actually I'll answer that question at the last second here. I think we're gonna do questions at the very last bit here for the video, but like he could get us into at least his Julius or his Noel up with these last 2 little things that he gets, which is absolutely amazing. I did not think that he didn't finish this yet, but yeah, he hasn't finished this yet, and so his account's looking pretty dang solid. As for cards here, he does have a decent bit of cards, as we can tell by the SSR ones, in which a lot of these are pretty decent. I definitely like the Sally one. Mimosas is kind of eh. Charmy's is nice, same as Yami's and Asta's. And of course, for Leopold and as well as Noel, that Leopold card is actually nice. Noel's card is kind of oof. He kind of got shafted a little bit on that, but still usable. And of course, the Darkness card and the Lotus card is actually very, very nice as well. Now, I would advise for his SRs to combine some of these guys. I do see a lot of like Funeral cards not fully combined down here. If you can get those maxed out and then probably have 2 of each of them, that would probably be very helpful for himself. Charmy card needs to get maxed out definitely, because that's kind of useful. Same as Mimosas and Solids. So if he does have those SR cards just laying around, he could very well just use those. Gear as for LRs are looking pretty darn decent. I know he does get a couple lobsters, so this is pretty nice for now. It seems like the only thing he's lacking is a little bit more on magic attacks that I'm seeing. I see a lot of attackers here, but I think he might have a couple more magic attacks at the bottom, which will help him out. Lastly, we do have some enhancers, which are absolutely amazing here that he has in at least the items here or in his inventory. Definitely want to save those for like characters or at least gear slots that are really, really worth it. I would definitely say don't use those guys until you feel like you're ready for a certain gear set, and definitely seeing if it's re-rolled or stuff like that, or if it's the best that you can possibly get, then go ahead and enhance those, but definitely try not to do that too much. Now, some things that I will say that you need to farm immediately is EXP pots, because EXP pots are very, very important to get those last base stats to try and get to at least level 90 or 100. And then lastly, I would definitely recommend you to get some stones and talent seeds. Talent seeds are the thing that makes the world go round. So if you can actually farm a little bit more of talent seeds, that would be absolutely amazing. And then of course for stones, seeing that you have a lot of +8 gear and not +12 gear, that would possibly be the best things that you can do. All right, then lastly, of course, he does have some lobsters left. This is showing off some little consumables here with at least 6 tickets, which ain't that bad. All right, so now that we went over his characters and things like that, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that he wanted, that he actually wanted me to answer for him. So let's go ahead and actually pull that up on the screen here. So let me do that real fast. That was actually the one thing I actually forgot to put on the screen for a second. So let's go ahead and open this with Opera, and there we go. So some of the things that he wanted me to answer here was, should my last 2 universal dupes go to Julius or Noel? Now, one of those few things that I would like to say when it comes down to this, it honestly is per preference. But if you do want more utility and use out of your dupings here, I would definitely say use your dupes on Julius. Julius has a lot more things to offer in his kit, in which we all know this, where it's speed reduction and things like that. And of course, by getting him up, you're able to deal so much more damage, while also getting the benefits from his card and the benefits just from 5-starring him himself. By doing so, he's able to actually get that nice 100% revive as well. So that's always nice to have, at least in your back pocket, to immediately use for PvE or PvP. I definitely suggest this will be wise to do. Of course, if you do want to go for Noel, you can very well do so. But I would definitely suggest go for Julius. Now, his next question was, should I farm different types of gear at this point with my current pieces? And I would definitely suggest, seeing that his current pieces aren't too bad here, as long as your first 4 on your team have really, really good gear or have some decent gear, I would suggest go ahead and just farm some different types of gear, but mainly try to focus for the HP and the crit rate one. Main reason is because a lot of people use crit rate, a lot more than I see with crit damage at times, but a lot of people use crit rate and a lot of people use HP. Now, if you go ahead and farm the one at the bottom, of course, you could get pin gear as well as crit damage gear, but pin isn't really used that much on most characters. It's really rare when you do see pin used on characters, and then the crit damage ones, you really have to be finely picky to actually have those characters, or at least those gears. So if you wanted to farm different gear types, yes, you can do so with your at least current pieces. Just only make sure though that you're farming most likely the HP crit rate ones, mainly because everyone's going to be using some sort of HP, such as Rodis and such as like different characters like Mimosa, or even different tanks like Mars. So that's always going to be the better choice. And then the next question was, should I start investing into talents at this stage? Talents at this stage, yes, because they do give you overall a nice power. If you guys have played different games such as like Star Rail or Genshin, stuff like that, talents are the equivalent, at least the equivalent to talents in those games, which they give you that permanent amount of CC. And by getting them all up, of course, you get yourself a nice little power boost. And inside of course BCM, we get this stone, in which if you have one of those stones, they can give you even more of a power boost. I definitely say at this time you can very well do so with your talents here, but it is wise to only farm the talent stage 6 or 7, because those you can pretty much get all the things that you need within 1k stamina here pretty darn easily to finish at least one whole circle, and it will overall benefit your entire account. I would definitely suggest if you can do this for your first 2 teams for the most part, especially seeing that we do have quite a lot of events that require 2 teams, that would be absolutely amazing to do. But once you get, of course, your 2 teams done, you won't have to do that for a little bit unless you really want to. Now, he did ask which other units should he level up. So if we go ahead and take a look at his characters that he needs to level up here, Radies is definitely going to be one of those units without a doubt to get up, of course. William can be absolutely amazing to get up next. And then the last 2 would be Red Yami and Char. I think I'm only gonna recommend like 4 units, 3 to 4 units per one of these reviews here, at least to get up here. And I would definitely suggest that those 2 are probably going to be the best to be his 3 and 4, mainly because you definitely want to work on at least your red team, seeing that you are going to be farming a little bit of green dungeon as well. So having Yami and at least Char up will be absolutely amazing, as well as their utility for PvE farming and things of that nature. Now, when it does come down to at least the blue unit as well as Rodis, which is the green unit, we all do know that when it comes with Rodis here, he has a nice little shield that will help you out a lot. And then he has William over here, which can help you out with some nice buffs. So I would definitely suggest those things being the 4 that he goes ahead and gets up. All right, now which unit should be my main focus? Now, some main focus units without a doubt that I'm going to immediately state is going to be Radies immediately. Radies sticks around for ages to come, especially when it comes down to at least JP. He is in multiple different teams, multiple different meta teams at that, and he has made a major change when it comes to things like that. So he can really focus on Rodis himself. He can really focus on Mars some more when he wants to. I do have a video that needs to come out actually for Mars very soon for you guys, but he needs to focus on Mars. And then I would suggest focusing on Julius and Noel quite a lot, mainly because those 2 are absolutely amazing. Now, if we want to break this up by, of course, different little roles here. When it comes to the attack role, focus Julius a lot. Comes to the defense role, focus Rodis. Comes to the healer role, focus Mimosa, or at least Mimosa or Charmy. Either one could be really good. But if you wanted at least a nice green healer, which you probably will need, would be Mimosa. If you really wanted a nice debuffer, Lotus, we all should have built, so focus him up as well. And then lastly, I think for our supporters that I would just recommend focusing up would be Voltos more than William, at least until William gets more dupes. But all right, so those are those with that here. And then lastly, what's the best strat for getting accessories and red dust? Now, if you want to go ahead and get some nice strats for red dust and accessories, let's go ahead and take a look at my account immediately here. One of the few things that I would advise in doing, at least here, is trying to grind as much gear as possible. And this is even something that you can possibly do for even Guild War, right? We'll go ahead and go to the design gear section here, and pretty much all of your SR gear here or SR gear here, you can go ahead and do something like this, or take this down a little bit and kind of get these up. I wouldn't suggest using your UR pieces unless you're at this state, of course, and this is only because it will help you get these guys. So you would end up saving like a little bit of your SSRs here while only trying to use at least 2 of your URs here. So let's go ahead and put in that many. We have a total of 8 SRs and 2 URs for a chance at 30% of an LR. I would do this here for the most part, mainly because you're only going to be getting a ton of URs and LR, or at least a ton of URs, maybe some SSRs back here for the most part. But if you go ahead and do something like this, we can tell by the points this is a UR piece or an LR piece. Actually, we actually got way more than that, but made a LR piece off rip here. In which then what you would end up doing with those trash pieces, you go ahead and take these pieces and go to designing yourself an accessory. Now, this is something that you would only particularly do, I would say, if you're going to form LR pieces here, only do this when you have these abrasive type of little items here, which you can get from item shops as well as from event shops. I would only suggest doing a LR piece forming from there. As for if you wanted to get UR pieces themselves, you can go ahead and take the bad UR pieces that you ended up combining here, take 10 of those guys here, and then immediately try your hardest to try and get a UR piece. Though I do suggest if you were using a LR instead, of course, you will have a higher percentage of making the UR pieces themselves. So if you did have 10 LR pieces and you're just like that rich that you can just get rid of LR pieces like the drop of a hat, then of course you could just go ahead and do that. Knock these guys down. You have a 90% chance for a UR piece, while 5% chance for an LR piece, which is actually not that bad. This could be a good way to get some nice accessories. Now, coming down to at least the dust part of things, any of the little actual things that you crafted that are accessories that are like SSRs, of course, you have a full team that has their SSR accessories pretty dang decent. You can go ahead and go over here, in which we already have 2 whole teams, and just get rid of these guys, mainly because they give you a decent bit of dust here, in which you can very well use. Now, of course, you could very well just disintegrate gear pieces themselves. It is kind of nice to do so, but I find it a little bit not too well to do, only just because if you just go ahead and just get up just the gear and just disintegrate those, yeah, sure, you have a chance of getting the red dust, but you more than likely are going to get the blue dust. So I do suggest making the accessories first. If they're SSR accessories and you don't need to put them on anyone, get rid of them that way and recycle your red dust from there. But all right, you guys, so that was our first box review. It was a little bit long, but expect these detailed little explanations coming along from me here. Now, we're going to be doing this inside the Discord server quite often, so look forward to that. I think I will have the Discord link most likely edited in the what's it called? I want to put it inside of the comment section later on, because we are actually doing some remodeling literally right now as I'm recording this into the Discord server. And then I'll also put the link on our community page as well, so look forward to that link. We're going to be doing stuff like this all the time, and I can't wait to see more of you guys' boxes. But till then, everybody, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, slice that like button with your forehead as well, with anything else you got around. And then till next time, everybody, peace out and enjoy the video, or at least future videos. Peace.